Hi, this is Jack from Alpha Charts with a stocks to watch video. Today is September 26, 2021. Before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. And I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. All right, so let's start with the Qs. Just a really quick little market look. Monday was nasty, and then you had this nice little follow through coming back up, and now reclaiming the moving averages, or right there at the moving averages. So I think as of right now, nice to see the quick rebound in the market. So as bearish as this looked, this area held. What's the low here? I think 360.93 ish is the important area right now. You could even probably go as low as here, 360-ish. And as long as that holds, I think it's still bullish, right? Above 360, it's still bullish. Below 360, I think you have to get, a little bit more bearish. Anyway, let's we go over that in the state of the market video, which I do on Saturday. If you're interested in that, check out the channel, and you'll see that posted also. Before we get going, like and subscribe. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. That really does help me out, and it keeps me making content like this. All right, so let's get into the charts. We have 10 actionable, 5 soon, and 7 patience names. We're going to recap last week's top 5 and go into today's top 5. I also have 1 jet fuel scan name to talk about. All right, so let's do actionable first. First one is going to be U. And so U, I think, is still actionable because even though it had this beautiful gap up, it showed follow through the next day. And so follow through the next day, as is a very positive sign. And again, it may have to move sideways a few more days, but if it breaks above 145, the gap is going to be filled, and I think there's a good chance that we make it up into the 170s, to at least test all-time highs or close to it. Next up, PLTR, Palantir, had the big gap down, then it recovered. It's basically at the same spot it was coming into the week. Still actionable, actually more actionable in my opinion, because it retested this 23-day EMA, which so far within its character is holding as support. So that's the area that I'm watching for the potential support, or at least continuation of trend. Got a dog. All right. So again, on Monday, actually showed great relative strength, held right where it should, and then it just kind of continued higher from Monday. Again, showing lots of relative strength, and just moving higher. Again, it's not too far extended from moving averages. I think it's still pretty actionable. DOCN, Digital Ocean. Yeah, so this is recent IPO, and it's run up from $51 to $88 ish, and now it's just kind of moving sideways. So it's a little bit loose in here. Would love to see this tighten up over the next few days, and that would make me even more bullish on this name. But I think that this VWAP right down here is the one that I'm watching. It was a big up day, not a huge volume, but a big up day. Right here was a 14.5% up day. The VWAP off that day, that's what I'm watching. And if you see, it's kind of held that VWAP ever since. So as long as it's above 78.27-ish, I think this one could be a long. NCNO. Again, here's the gap up, and now it's moved sideways. I mean, it looks like it's ready to go, right? Need to see that this VWAP probably hold. It may need a little bit more time. Depending on what it needs to do with this moving average right here. See how many days it's been. It's been 15 bars, so it needs another week or so. So this may be actually more like soon, but you just have to watch it. If it breaks out and closes, above $78 or so, I think that this could be a long. That's NCNO. Snow is on here. I mean, if you go back, this was an important area from the IPO, and now it's back to the ear area. Lots of accumulation happening on this. We'll call it maybe a handle. You're seeing a drop in volume. This one looks really, really close to pop in. Again, the 23 days is catching up. The 9 days is flat. So this one looks really good. Next up will be Z. Got this nice little, sideways move. Now it's kind of in this trend channel. You could easily draw a trend line here. Where am I? Here we go. Seems like it's holding some kind of trend line here, right? It's right where it's kind of where the 23 day is also kind of trending up also. So yeah, let's just ride the 23 day. That seems to be what's holding up all along. So as long as that 23 days rising and going up and to the right, I think we could be long ZI. EXPI. This one's been just all kind of, I won't say all over the place, but it gapped up, came back, retested again, has this small double bottom that's forming. It break out above, 51-ish, I think confirms. And I think that it can then, at least, play out the double bottom, right? That was a 28% move, 11 points. So let's see what 11 points is from here. Somewhere around here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not bad. It could even go higher. I mean, again, this is just the start, the double bottom, and you don't know where it could go from there. I wouldn't be surprised again if it gets into this area up here in the 70s, near or at all-time highs, maybe 80. And then we'll see, right? Then this is a bigger base, bigger move. I don't know. We'll find out. But this is just kind of the right side of a bigger base potentially, right? So it's EXPI. Again, this is a nice looking chart right there. GLBE, recent IPO, big run up, sideways move, kind of retested this area multiple times, and now it's starting to lift high from there. Look at all these moving averages are kind of bunched up right below it. Lots of volume underneath it now, which is kind of nice to see. So it looks pretty good. That's GLBE. AVLR. This one is retested this area of resistance multiple times, broke out, came back. It's held its support so far, so that's looking pretty good. Kind of moving sideways, moving averages are catching up. If this one, again, nice risk reward here, breaks above 190, 191-ish. I think this one could be a long very easily. All right, there were the 10 actionable ones, 5 soon ones. Dash. So Doordash, we've been kind of talking about. We like this a lot. This seems like the important area. Maybe even drop this, make it a little bit bigger of an area. We're right in it, kind of soaking up supply here. There wasn't much back here, but there was some. And so, as the moving averages catch up, it may need a little bit more time to move sideways. It was kind of a fresh gap up right here, 2, 4, 6, 7 days, 7 trading days. But this one looks really good. Again, as it's soaking up supply in this area, I think this one can move much higher. MDB, another nice gap up, sideways move. Moving averages are still a little extended, which is why I think it was DigitalOcean. I think we were talking about. Yeah. So just like this one probably needs to be on the soon list rather than the actual list, just because these moving averages still have a pretty wide gap between them, and I have to see that close up before they move higher. Sometimes it works out the way I want it to. Sometimes they move without me, and we're going to go into a stock like that later that does that. And that's okay. It just moves without me. I can't make it happen, right? Snap, we've talked about in the past, and look, this is what I'm talking about. Moving averages kind of catching up, closing the gap. It took a little bit of time, and now nice big volume as it's moving higher. I was not involved in this one, but it looks beautiful from top to bottom. It's already a 20% move. It's a pretty nice move. Now we have to wait for it to maybe retest, 79, 78, 79 level. Hopefully, let these catch up again, and then maybe rinse and repeat, right? App, newer IPO name, kind of making highs and lows, and now it's trying to kind of consolidate and move higher from here. I think there's a good chance it tries to get back up to all-time highs, about 10% move, and then maybe this is its first true IPO base. That would make sense, and then we can see what happens at that point. But yeah, I think you got to at least here. The thing is, this is a little extended from its moving averages, so it may need a little bit more time just to kind of base out here. So it's what I'm watching on my soon list. And Red Rock Resorts. So this one, good accumulation showing up here, especially on the right side of the chart. It broke out of this consolidation from May and is moving higher. Again, maybe a little extended, and it's not going to be the fastest mover, but it is trending in the right direction. And I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back and retests this area. So I'm just watching it for now. Something that I may or may not get into just because it's a slower mover, but it still looks like a pretty good setup. Here's my patience ones. So AFRM was kind of what I was talking about. It gapped up, got on my radar, never really closed. I was expecting this to chop around, but nope, it gapped up again. Got back on my radar. Again, I was expecting it to consolidate at this point, and nope, never did that either. Kind of moved much higher at that point too. So there's one that just the moving averages never bunched up the way I would have liked them to. And so I was never able to get involved in this one. So this one again needs just some patience. I mean, it's moved, a ridiculous from high to low, 100%, right? In a very short period of time. So with that being said, let's go weekly. I mean, look at this weekly, just absolute monster. But again, go back to the weekly though, right? Is this the place where I want to start a position in this name? It really isn't. Like this is where sellers are going to start to show up, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but this is where the sellers start to show up. So I'm not a buyer here. I'm going to wait for a pullback, maybe to 114, 115, right? Maybe it needs to chop around in this area a little bit, and then maybe I'll buy at that point. But as of right now, this is for me is too close to a really important area, right? All-time highs right here. The time to buy is in my opinion is not here. It is a time for patience. Upstart. I thought I was really slick. I sold my position. I had 100% gain right in here. And what did it do? Yep, it just pulled back in and continued higher at that point. So I'm watching for some type of consolidation. And right here, look how strong this name is. The 9-day EMA is what's holding it. So that's what I'm looking for. If I could get a situation like this, and maybe we're going to get to it, and pull back into the moving average, maybe that would be something I would consider. Again, because the 9-day you see is now its guide. That can change at any moment, obviously, but that's what I'm looking for right now, is maybe a pullback into the 9-day or a bigger consolidation, between here and 300, and let these moving averages catch up a little bit. That's UPST, ABNB. Great looking breakout, moved higher, just extended, needs a little bit of patience, maybe come back and retest, this level right here, or, maybe not even that far. Strong names won't ever come back and do a perfect retest, even 170-ish. You let these moving averages catch up a little bit, then move higher. WMG, nice big fat gap up right here, 11%. Now it's just moving sideways. Again, just way extended from its moving average, but great volume coming in right here. So watch WMG, DLO. So DLO is just moving sideways. Hasn't done anything wrong yet. It's holding its gap just fine. And would love to see it just kind of break out above $70. This one actually could probably be on the soon list. Actually, it looks more of a sooner name than a patience name, but either way, it looks really, really good, and it looks like this move is coming. See, this is what I'm talking about right here. The moving averages have now caught up. They're still bullishly aligned, and they're both kind of turning up again. So that looks really, really good. This may be soon. This could even potentially be actionable this week. So definitely watch DLO. Apps ran without me. Again, now it's extended. Maybe it needs to pull back to 67-ish. I would love to see that, and then kind of continue higher. I still think it's going all-time highs eventually, which is closer to the 90 range, right? 95-ish, maybe all the way to 100, who knows? That's apps, APPS. And then this week, a new one for me is Dvax. So this was obviously an area right here. There it popped off. It then sold out, right? Went up to this $20 range, sold all the way down to 13. That's a 35% decrease, right? It's pretty big drawdown. And now it got back up again. So we'll call it loose in there. It needs to chill out a little bit. It needs to move sideways a little bit. So it needs a little patience. But if it gets above $20, I think this one could be a long, right? 20 and a quarter, somewhere around there. But I think it needs to calm down a little bit. Maybe make some kind of basing pattern and then break out again. Then I would like this. So a little patience with this one. Okay. Jet fuel scan name. Love is on there. Again, I should have got into it on Monday. That was my day to get into it. I didn't. But I do like this name. I still think we get back up into or near all-time highs, and we'll see what happens there. But it looks good. Lots of volume coming through here. So not too shabby at all. This one can move much higher. Probably to, yeah, that's about 33% increase, right? It gets up to 100-ish. So 30%, whatever. Not bad. All right, let's look at last week's recap. PLTR was on there. It kind of went sideways, PLTR, right? But it's still set up, still looks really good. And so, nothing wrong with this. You really didn't lose money if you were in it, but didn't make any money. Unity Software, this one did very well. Even after the gap down, it was still higher at the end of the week. Snow was on there. Snow gap down on Monday and recovered some of it, but it was down on the week. Still set up though very nicely. Apps, absolute monster last week. Again, there's your gap down, but then it just recovered completely. Really good one. And Venom was on there, and Venom did very, very well. And I'm seeing a lot of oil and gas names right now showing up. This wasn't on the list, but I'm gonna go ahead and show it to you. LNG. Look at the monthly chart on LNG. I know we have another week left in this month, but man, it is just a gigantic. I mean, look at this base going back to 1979, right? We're now above the 1979 and all-time. We're into all-time highs. I mean, it looks absolutely amazing. So a lot of oil and gas names, but on my top 5 last week, Venom was on there and it did very good. That's Viper Energy Partners. All right, so not a bad week for stock picking. Here's my top 5 for this week. I'm going to keep Palantir on there. It was sideways last week. I mean, if it was set up last week, it's even more set up this week. So I think that looks really good. I am going to put Snow back on there again. Also, again, it was down a little bit last week, but it held support where it's supposed to. And I think it still has a good chance of breaking out and moving higher. So Snow is on there. I think Z, it needs to be on there. Like how it gapped down, showed relative strength here, moved higher, and even here, buyers keep showing up in this chart, in my opinion. It's holding a 23-day very nicely. I think this one moves higher this week. EXPI, it's got that beautiful double bottom look to it. I think this one is a good chance it breaks out. These are now starting to get bullishly aligned again and move higher. Everything looks pretty good in this one. So I'm looking for EXPI to move this week. And AVLR, I mean, it's been consolidating nicely. 23-day is just about caught up to price again. It's right at all-time highs. I think everything looks really good in AVLR. Okay, so there you go. There's my top 5 going into this week. Some repeats, some new ones in there. I think that the market still has a bullish tilt to it. So I think that's a positive. And I think there's a lot of good stuff going on. All right. So again, you like this kind of stuff, please like and subscribe to my videos. Also, find me on Twitter at AlphaCharts365. I'm posting all kinds of stuff on there, including charts and my scans and things that you may find useful. So again, appreciate everything. Y'all have a great week trading. Bye.